So it's fine. Yeah. I think it's also fine that we don't have an intro video because I think the one that you guys are putting together is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is
live right now.
Yeah,
we're already live.
Oh, are we?
People love the banter. They love the banter.
Talk show.
This is the Health Tech Talk Show. That's Melissa. That's Kat. I'm Lisa. We don't have an intro video. Happy holidays.
Yay! Oh my God. Here we are. God bless America. Yeah. So this was like a wild news week, y'all.
A lot of news is happening.
A lot of things happening.
Like a lot of news is happening, guys. A lot of news. A lot of news.
It's the last season of like The Earth, and the writers are just going insane and writing like ridiculous storylines. It's absolutely
yeah. None of them are actually real, if only.
That's here.
All right. Yes. So we're gonna have. We'll bring him up for a second. This is Seth Joseph. He has agreed to join our show against his better judgment. So we're gonna do our news show. We're gonna go through it so that we don't, get him sued by anyone for saying stuff that we say. And then we'll have him on for the second half of the show, and he's gonna tell us, what are you talking about, Seth? What are we talking about?
Business maxing?
Yeah, business maxing.
Yeah. Business maxing.
That's right.
We're going to do it. All right. Well, Seth, introduce yourself real quick for all of America, because everybody's watching, and then we'll send you back and we'll, get ourselves in trouble saying stupid stuff.
I think that's a factual statement. Everybody in America is watching. And if one person isn't, and I just made a factually incorrect statement, please know that I have checked and I do have media liability insurance. So have at it.
We do not. We don't. We're not journalists, and we don't have media liability insurance.
Why would you say something like that, Seth? That's something now that I have to worry about.
That's a new one.
You look into
Melissa, get us some insurance.
Do you guys know how much money is in our bank account right now for the Health Tech Talk Show?
$5.
$840, which I think
we got a sponsor. They're coming.
Well, we don't have them yet. Until the ink is dry, Melissa, we can't count our chickens. So. We have no dollars, you guys. Nice. So anyway, okay, Seth, we're gonna release you from liability for at least the next 30 minutes. And Melissa, I know you don't, yeah. Okay.
She doesn't. She's like, I don't want any of your liability. Woo.
Oh my God. Okay. Hey, so this is a great image. Thank you, Max. So tons of shit happened, Lisa. But first,
oh my God,
we actually agree with this guy. What?
Yeah, Ryan is he's a smart guy, and his predictions were good. And I think the commentary around this was that he got the prediction of Walgreens or CVS being taken private. He got it right already, essentially. And that is one of the interesting pieces of news, is that Walgreens has a PE take private on the table.
Yeah, they're gonna go private.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know. There's so much shit going on. So he had you should read his stuff, y'all. And maybe he'll come on the show. We'll get him on. I think last year we had him do his predictions in January. Maybe we'll get lucky and do them before January, but time's running short. But there is some really great stuff in here. But speaking of PBMs, there's all the anti-PBM proposals in Congress. We got all kinds of shit going on. Things are wild. There's a lot of dialogue, a lot of discourse, a lot of drama going on. But
yeah, I would say definitely read his predictions. They're really, really smart. And I think he's got his finger on the pulse here. And also Congress just woke up and was you know what, we could do stuff before the next term. They're actually moving some chess pieces around right now. So interesting
moving the chess pieces. Yeah, but read this. We'll maybe have him on. And it's actually really good. So shout out.
Really
shout out. Okay, so Lisa, you sent this to me, and I'm kind of a fan of site neutral stuff.
How could you not be? If you're even vaguely a libertarian, you might be, maybe, possibly, how could you be against site neutral payments? This is the idea that if you can do the same procedure in an outpatient doctor's office or a hospital or a surgical center, Medicare or any payer should pay the same amount of money because it's the same frickin' service. I shouldn't be paying for your fancy waterfall or whatever it is that you have in your fancy nonprofit hospital. Site neutral has been a policy wonks proposal forever about how we can like rein in costs in healthcare, right? Like, so it makes sense, but suddenly, for some unknown reason, Cassidy, who is normally a really smart, super smart thinker, really bright guy, one part of the doc caucus, right? Medical doctor. Come on, dude. Like, don't let them get to you. Come on, Cassidy, please. Like, we're depending on you to be the smart medical doctor, policymaker in the room. Please, 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 Senator Cassidy.
Yeah, just
no.
It'd be great. It'd be great if this happened.
No,
like, it'd be great if you don't want it to happen, or you do want it to happen?
No, I do want it to happen. I just don't want. I like this kind of thing, like putting this thing on the record. It's like, come on, man. Like,
listen, I don't know what these people. I don't know what the opposing party has on you, bro. But like, just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
We will support you. We will put your name in lights
on the Health Tech Talk Show. We will support you. So all of America is going to see this. Also, Melissa, thank you for raising funds for our media liability insurance, which we will.
That's upsetting. Damn it, Seth.
I mean, it's a good thing we have no money. So anyway, moving on. True. So speaking of Congress people saying stuff. So a bunch of GOP lawmakers sent a letter to Mickey Tripathi, and they were like, "F you, bruh."
Yeah, it wasn't very nice, honestly. Here's the vibes that we're hearing, which is that there are some things that the new administration, that the Republicans in Congress think about ASTP ONC going into next year. And that is that a lot of the AI stuff is not super well grounded in statute, meaning that they don't necessarily have the authority to do the work that they've been doing or the things that they're talking about. So if we were going to take bets on what's going to fall away, it's likely going to be that. I think there's going to be, a different approach to AI regulation policy. And I don't think people are super excited about this one.
Yeah. It's I think we've all heard the same rumors that ASTP is under the microscope, that there are some people who think it shouldn't even exist. Parts of it might be moved to CMS is what we've heard potentially. Where, Lisa, where will they be moved?
Well, currently you have the Office of Burden Reduction and Health Informatics. Did they change the name? That was the last name. Sorry, I'm forgetting.
Well, if it has changed, I don't know about it. But
it used to be
Burden Reduction
and Health Informatics, but I don't remember if they've changed it since then because, well, it's mid-December and, whatever.
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
Vacation, so,
Yeah, we got a lot going on. So who knows if it changed? But I've heard that a bunch of it could be placed under that office. Definitely, I heard that the AI stuff is not great. That they likely won't be able to keep that. But we also have heard, and we'll talk about this a little later, that honestly, no one in the administration cares about ASTP. They're this is dumb, but the new administration's what even is this?
It's not top of mind. We are the only people who care about it. Sorry,
I think this is
everyone. It's us.
We care. We care.
We're obsessed with you.
We're obsessed with you. And it turns out that we've been trying to get all the deets on the potential appointees for the new national coordinator or assistant, whatever it's going to be. And we have been told numerous times, no one, we don't even care. We don't even care about that job. So, maybe they'll care soon. I don't know. But right now, a lot of speculation. But speaking of,
I think that we called this one pretty well. I certainly called it, at least to myself, which is that, they were going to release a scaled down, cut up version of HTI-2. And that's exactly what happened. This part of the rule was released as just the stuff on TEFCA and a couple of certification things. Sorry for people who worked on this. I know this is a lot of work, but this is basically what it rolled up to, is a cut up version. And then we've heard that there is a separate protecting care access rule, standalone rule. Controversial because it's pretty easy if you put out a separate rule to just kill that. Let's be clear. We're in the range right now where the next administration can say, we would like to unfinalize those rules, because it's just, this is what happened with Trump, with the new Biden administration. It's the same thing, right? Administrations don't want to, roll out rules from previous administrations with policy decisions from them. And so, these things can be unfinalized pretty easily. So it's kind of a bummer. I mean, which, you know, there's some good things in there in protecting care access, right? Like privacy of reproductive health data, some issues around the exchange of reproductive health data that are important. But you got to get it out of the door before mid-December, before your administration ends. Like, it's kind of
I mean, I guess they're trying, but yeah, I know a lot of people were really disappointed in things that like weren't included here. Like this was kind of the stuff that no one really cared about in the great free markets, right? And people are really upset that it sounds like they didn't include the prior auth policies. Like that was something that really pissed people off, because those are actually important and have deadlines. And then I think, you know, we like in general, like this guy on Twitter.
Josh Mandel.
Lisa does, because she sends basically our deck is what Lisa sends me throughout the week, and that I get her to tell me what it says live.
But text.
Yeah, this is a lot of group texting. But yeah, you know, this guy, like same thing. Like there are a lot of things that we all cared about that were in the proposed rule that like just aren't in here. Like this is like a TEFCA only rule, and like
Josh is a super smart medical doctor informaticist who is now at Microsoft and has really, really smart thoughts on the rules around patient data sharing and TEFCA and HIE governance. So super smart guy. And he has been doing a lot of analysis of the rule recently using Gemini, using an AI tool. And he was like, things I cared about, not in there.
Yeah. So kind of a bummer. I think a lot of us felt that way, and that's fine. Also, fun thing about Brendan Keeler, he also has great content in general. So this was, I think, just a funny thing that we were laughing about, Lisa, with like, y'all might want to read like your consent stuff when you're using things. Like just read it. Like I know you don't want to, and you want to be like me and just be like, absolutely, let's get done.
Yes.
You know, like
so
maybe
Phreesia has those. I think the tool is usually that patients usually interface with it when they come to check into their doctor's visits, and they're given an iPad. And Phreesia offers this kind of like patient sort of consent and like a light patient record. And I mean, if you just press like yes on this one, you'd be basically saying like, yes, please like steal all of my data, do whatever you want with it, make as much money as you off of it. We are not going to protect it. Like, there's no way this is actually legal, but like,
you want
checking
for free for no benefit to me? Yes, sir. And
perfect.
Yes.
Total scam.
Read what you're signing. And like, you know, there are a lot of like, you know, kind of shady apps out there that do this kind of thing too. So just read your stuff. It turns out, you know, a lot of people have been talking about Brad Smith, you know, being the messiah of healthcare, and like there were rumors that he was going to be the secretary. There were rumors that he's basically running America behind the scenes, and you know, he's a bajillionaire, which is accurate. But it turns out he's actually kind of steering the Doge.
Yeah, I think we've all been wondering like who's going to actually do Doge when like Ramaswamy and Musk get bored and do other stuff. And it sounds like Brad is the serious person in the room.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing stuff. So I mean,
Ramaswamy is tweeting. Musk is obviously always tweeting, and I'm assuming that Brad is actually doing the stuff, the real like what are we going to actually do here? So that's interesting.
Yeah. So it turns out the rumors are true that he is actually in charge. So that's great. Awesome. Fantastic. Also, bring Don back, please.
Listen,
if you guys,
this is the call. This is us trying to give a message to the new administration. If you don't care about ASDPONC, that's cool.
Right.
This guy, previous Trump administration appointee, loyal fan follower, smart guy, qualified. He's ready. Tanned, rested, and ready.
Who cares and wants a job? Like, come on.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Tanned, rested, and ready.
Yeah. And
maybe not tan. I don't know about you.
He's going to person, so he's going to get the goggle tan, I'm sure.
That's
like,
right. That's right.
The gap here, but he'll be ready. He'll be ready to go. Like, just call him. That's great. Like, yeah, call Don. He's ready to go.
He has not endorsed us saying this, by the way, but like, we just really think Don is the right person for the job. So, you know.
No, actually, good.
He has a job, but like it's better, right? Like he has a job right now.
He has a real job. Like he's not on the streets. He's not like begging for scraps. Like probably gonna have to give up his equity, but he still wants to serve America. Call him today.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So this was, I think, just funny, Lisa. You sent this to me. You know, this is all of the committee members in Congress. Is that what it is? Yeah,
these
Lisa,
are the heads of the committees. Yep, these are the heads of the committees.
Sometimes people on the internet don't know when I'm being sarcastic. I would just like to give you an alert. This is about to be sarcastic. Thank God America's back to normal business. Holy shit.
Wow, y'all.
Thank God. Here we are.
Is this the best we can do? Women holding up half the sky and none of the committee appointments in the GOP. Come on, guys. Now, to be fair, to show you that I am no longer a partisan, I will tell you I'm anti-partisan now. I will tell you on the Democratic side, they're all 95-year-olds. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm not favoring any party here. I'm just telling you, come on. We can do better.
Anyway, congratulations, dear sirs, on your appointments.
That's right.
I'm here for it. That's why Seth couldn't, like, we don't even know who he was going to insult by being on this part of the show. I don't know. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So this guy had, like, you sent me this, I think you sent me this on Signal, and it was like, lol, like, and like eye emojis or something. Yeah. So some of this stuff sounds bad. Like, this is a whole thread that was interesting, but I pulled this part out because I thought it was wild. But yeah, like, you know, it's actually kind of like a kickback, according to some other tweets, to give these patients financial benefit.
Well, let me just make a meta comment right now about the last week of like dialogue and debate and nonsense, like about, you know, the role of health insurers and the role of doctors and everything. I would just like to, again, I really want to keep all of us incredibly humble here. Come on now. Like, really, like, insurers do bad things, doctors do bad things, providers do bad things, PBMs do bad things, pharma manufacturers do bad things. Like, really, 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 there's a lot of blame to go around. It's been
health technology vendors do bad things.
Health technology vendors do bad things. Like, this idea that we all agree that insurers are the boogeyman. This medical doctor here is also part of the system. And, you know, if your solution is just, if you're a medical, pay doctors more, like, okay, well, sure. Yes, yes. But like, there's lots of other stuff going on that is not just like, oh, the insurers are greedy. It's not that simple. And our system is really, really weirdly designed. So
yeah,
this guy is saying probably some legitimate things, that the insurers, for various reasons, are doing risk adjustment of various types and adding things that are not legit. Very true. But also doctors and providers do that too.
Lisa, do you think Medicare Advantage for all will solve all these problems?
It won't, but like, honestly, at this point, I'm so over offering health insurance as an employer. Personally, it's the worst. It's like the worst system we could have ever designed. I'm just over it. And so, like, do I think Medicare Advantage for all fixes things? Like, I don't think it fixes everything. There's lots of additional problems, but like, we need to try something else. Like, we're at the breaking point. We need to try something else. Let's try something else. How about that?
It's like,
I'm ready.
Great. Yeah, you know, and like, I always talk about the great free markets. And then sometimes in the show I say, but you know what, this is actually not the great free market. It's an artificial market. It's been hacked together with like not really stable materials. And as such, like, even our market, like the health tech market, like does not operate like the real world. So there's all kinds of things that we do or can't do. And there's all kinds of financial incentives that result in not doing the right thing for like basically everyone. So totally agree. I think you did send me
this one on the screen here was basically saying, like, if you just paid Medicare Advantage what they're like legally supposed to receive, then we would save a ton of money. This was the CBO's like options for reducing the federal deficit. And they were like, just like literally follow our own rules.
Aren't they going to abolish the OMB?
No, you can't abolish the OMB. They're the ones who keep a tab. They're the ones who limit spending. No one's going to abolish the OMB.
But the Doge is going to abolish the FDIC. No. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's different, but different for a different reason.
I just like that's it. Like, you know, we were saying, like, you know, Melissa was saying these journalists are writing fake headlines. They're like not writing fake headlines. Like, that's actually what they said yesterday.
Listen, you just throw stuff against the wall and see if it sticks. That's what's happening right now.
Well, you know, I don't know actually much about the banking system, but I always felt good about the FDIC because they like insure our deposits.
No, they're good.
But really like, good. I don't, what do I know? Like, what do I know? So yeah, but this was an exciting chart that I poorly copied from Slack, obviously, because it's including the Health Tech Talk Show in there. But yeah, it did seem like the math was going to work. So that was exciting. Speaking of math that probably won't work, so Particle released, or they announced a $10 million additional financing from existing investors to fund their late to market payer platform.
Their late to market payer platform.
I'm sorry, y'all. That shit is late to market. I feel like I've been selling that shit since like 2014.
Listen. So here's the thing, right? You're an investor in like a fancy startup, and you believe it's going to be the next best thing, whatever it is, and they have some kind of financial problems, legal problems. Like, you can walk away and maybe have them fail, or you can double down and hope that they pull out of it. And you might be right; they might pull out of it. But like, that's the thing, right? Their existing funders were like, okay, so the options are you guys shut down because you're out of money, or like we add some more funding and hope that you like continue to, move out of your legal and potentially financial problems. So must be nice. I'm not a VC, so I don't know. Yeah. I don't have $10 million.
I don't know how to gamble, but I sometimes am an angel investor, and this also happens to me. But I think it's like the same, like when you've lost all your money gambling in Vegas, like at Hims or something, and it's 2 a.m, or when you invest in a company you really love that founder, you just want them to do well, and then they call you and they're like, oh shit, hey Kat, I'm out of money and I'm going to close unless you give me another $10,000, and it's like,
I guess I need to give you some more money.
So yeah, I don't know.
Godspeed.
I've never seen this platform, but the way it has been described, it sounds like it's like 10 years late to market. But like, whatever. Like, it's whatever.
Godspeed. You know what? If somebody had $10 million they wanted to give them, if someone wanted to give me $10 million, I would definitely take it. Right. So like, I can't blame anybody here.
I feel like we could do something with 10 mil. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're getting into the lead up for Seth to show up, because he's going to talk about business maxing, and we talked to him previously at our Hinge show about like antitrust. So we learned there's a new FTC commissioner replacing Lena Khan, which is sad. She never came on our show, but maybe Lisa, she will.
Maybe she will now.
Come on our show.
Lena Khan, you can still come on the show even when you're not FTC commissioner. We are ready.
Anytime. Like, you
anytime,
come on over.
Anytime.
Like, we'll even do a special show. Like, we want to hear what you have to say about America. But yeah, so this guy, this was a great tweet too, if y'all want to go see it. He posts the full, I guess, like pitch letter that Ferguson wrote to get the job. And it's basically like, love America, love Trump, never doubted him, here for it, love innovation. Like,
honestly, like, I have to say, like, as a retired PR girl, this is a pretty good pitch, right? This is like, you can say it in, it's like 2 sentences.
It's like a 1-pager. Like, it's like a 1-pager, y'all. It is concise, smart brevity. He must have read Smart Brevity. So yeah, so that was great. And then here's a picture of him looking like Jesus at the Last Supper. So I feel like, like things might be good. But apparently he hates big tech. He's not into that, and he believes in free speech, and is coming after the big social media platforms for probably stealing the election. So,
this will be very interesting because, as people have noted, like, TikTok is required to shut down, basically. Like, TikTok, it was a law. It wasn't like something the Biden administration just did by themselves. It was a law. And like, TikTok has to either sell, and apparently ByteDance and the Chinese government will not allow that. So like, people, like, it's gonna go away. And I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think that the Trump administration can, like, unless they somehow get a new law passed or law repealed, I don't think that's going to happen. It was bipartisan. It was a bipartisan law that passed to say that TikTok cannot be like an externally, run from a Chinese parent company. I don't. It's a big change for a lot of people. A lot of people spend a lot of their time on TikTok during the day. Not me. Yeah. I do not have a TikTok account, but whatever.
Yeah, the only thing I watch on TikTok with my boys who watch cats at TikTok. It's pretty great. Tons of cat videos. I'm trying to make myself look like this guy in The Last Supper. Like, I'm having trouble. Like, Like I don't even know if
hands
I can
don't really do that. Yeah, I don't know.
I am like
I
don't think I have the messianic quality to do that. But anyway,
no.
I like this picture. All right, I think now it's time. Now it's time to bring Seth on. What? How do you feel? How was that?
Welcome back, Seth.
Oh my god.
I kind of wish I could have been a part of that, but I enjoyed listening in anyways.
Well, would you like us to go back to any particular parts? Because listen, we got that slide deck. We can do anything we want.
OMG, yes. There's so much, but I don't.
Rules.
First off, I'm sorry for the faux pas. Sorry for the faux pas initially. I just want to offer that I think I've got, in addition to a media liability, it's an umbrella policy. And what I understand about umbrellas is they cover all crap that's coming down. So I think that would cover the show. So friends and family.
Amazing.
Included.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I mean,
Kat's lying. She has all kinds of liability insurance. Me too.
Well, yeah. I mean, we run real companies, but anyway, Seth, what do you think about everything?
So much.
Sure, I'm sure Melissa already raised.
Sarah and I do the same thing. This is me. Sarah and I share this.
Oh yeah, reels.
We also do this. Too. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Oh my god.
The Frisia story, is that new? Because they've run into trouble before, and they've been some of their policies have shown up on Washington Post. But for what it's worth, you should know that they're up 22% this year. So maybe Brendan's helping them get some more attention.
And they're publicly traded, right? Isn't Frisia? Awesome. Did they go public?
Yeah, they're publicly traded. Yeah.
So weird. You know what? Maybe they're making all that sweet pharma money. I feel like that's the move. Except for if you're McKinsey and you just got fined for selling, with Purdue Pharma, then it's not the move. But yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, that was a long time coming. I think because Lisa, you said that to me, but it was too late for me to put in the deck because I was busy doing stuff. But yeah,
McKinsey just settled for $665 million for their role in the Purdue Pharma long time scandalosos around opioids. So that's what happens.
Yeah, but that's different than what Frisia's doing. What do you think about that?
Frisia is selling data to pharma. That's not illegal. It's just the way that you do it and where you kind of stay within the realm of HIPAA, or when you can actually legally move data out of HIPAA protection. There's some subtlety there, and putting it under a big optional terms and conditions and being and we are going to sell your data and we're also going to lose it and we have no idea what's going to happen to it afterwards. That's not great.
Yeah, losing probably not great. Maybe consent.
We don't know what's going to happen to it. It's gone.
Yeah,
not ideal.
So much. Where to begin?
I don't know. What do you think of Don Rucker?
He's great. He was. My recollection was he was really all about information blocking. He was not as big of a fan, as I understand it, of TEFCA, right? I mean, Lisa, I imagine you're much closer to that.
I am, but Kat also is as well. And I would say Kat is also a massive fan of information blocking and not a huge fan of TEFCA. So there you go. There are two peas in a pod.
100%.
Yeah, that might make three of us. I'm optimistic. I'd love to see TEFCA do well, but I'm skeptical, having worked at a health information network. So Don would be great. Better than nobody, which might be the alternative. It sounds like from your analysis.
Maybe, or maybe it'll just be someone we've been told it might be someone we don't even know. Whatever. Oh yeah, Brittany Matero, she's back on the Don train as well. Bring him back. Okay. What do you think about Particle v. Epic?
Well, that's a big question. For what it's worth, what I think is interesting about the Particle funding announcement is it would be super interesting for you guys to get one of their investors on the show to talk about why they invested.
Yes. Canvas.
My speculation is that maybe they are in fact Particle's current investors have been getting invested in themselves from others in the industry who want to see this lawsuit continue. And in fact, Particle is simply a vehicle to carry on an antitrust lawsuit against Epic.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, someone else is paying for the lawsuit, though.
Like somebody else is paying for the lawsuit, but who's paying for the people working at Particle Health?
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess. Yeah.
So we know we have I'm just like one standard deviation away from Rebecca Lynn, who was also, I believe, one of the funders of the Evil Practice Fusion, where I used to work, just to be clear. And she's an very important VC, and Canvas, they're one of Particle's investors as well. She's just a very, very involved healthcare IT investor with lots and lots of experience. So that could be interesting. Rebecca Lynn, please come on our show. We would like to talk to you about Particle and other things.
I'd love to listen.
Do you think they have a case against Epic? Like, do you think it's like real?
It's been a while since I spent that much time digging through. I did dig through, given my involvement in some of the things I've written about Epic. I was genuinely interested. I remain genuinely interested in what Particle is accusing Epic of. My recollection is that the case isn't super strong. It also, for what it's worth, Kat, while I get a lot of joy out of your comment that Particle's only like 10 years late to the party, which, as somebody who's been working in health tech and has had these types of ideas, I'm like, yeah, they are kind of late. To be fair, they were founded back in like 2017. So they were only 3 years late when they were founded, I think. But the thing is that all of these businesses are so early stage for the most part. So it feels like they've got an uphill battle, as I understand it, to prove out that Epic Payer Platform has a monopoly, or in fact is establishing a monopoly. Like, the market is so ill-defined, and there are all these different types of companies. I think they'll have an incredibly difficult time in defining the market, which I think, as I understand it, is pretty critical to actually winning an antitrust lawsuit, like defining the market and then establishing that the offending party has a monopoly in that market, or is close to and is using illegal tactics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I think we said before that I certainly think that, if this thing makes it to discovery, that's going to be the most interesting thing for the entire industry, for the media, for competitors, for partners. I mean, that's where the stuff gets interesting / messy, right? And I don't know, there's a reason why a lot of lawsuits don't proceed, right? And one of the reasons is that it might make sense sometimes to settle and to not go through discovery and have things made public, or, go into the public view. So, those are all things that can happen, could happen. Not speaking for them, but I feel like Epic is not interested in being bullied by anyone. And they also are extremely large and have lots of attorneys and, have a pretty good sense of who they are. So, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I actually really don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know. I do think, like, back to the point about, like, because their whole thing is like the payer platform, which again, I'm like, that is not a new market. Like, they're saying, new market entry. I'm like, this is so not a new market. I feel like it's like when Health Gorilla started saying they were the nation's largest network for ADTs. And I was like, shit, didn't I do that in 2018? Like, I actually remember printing a trade show booth that said that for someone else. So, like, I don't know. Like, I just think like a lot of this shit is made up, and, hopefully they get a judge that digs into things like facts.
Yeah. Well, there's no guarantee on that one, because, you can shop for a judge pretty easily in America.
That's what I hear. I don't know. I don't know.
You guys are savvy. Have you done this before? Where do you shop for a judge? What type of judge? Like, what are the criteria you look for?
Doesn't know anything about health IT. Number one. That's the requirement, has no idea about anything like technology, healthcare technology, never heard of it, like has a concierge doctor themselves, doesn't use an EHR. That's what I would look for. For me.
Yeah. I mean, not that, I don't know, not that anyone, we've never done that before, but well, Seth, like, how are we all going to make money in 2025?
Yeah.
So I have this fantastic idea.
Okay.
It's not
advantage for all.
Let's put aside ethics for a minute. Oh wait, no, I'm kidding. The idea was going to be Frisia. If all you're looking to do,
I always think I don't have any ideas for like new health technology. You know,
I don't have any ideas.
But then the reality is, like, you really shouldn't come up with a new idea. You should just take someone else's idea and do it like slightly better, or have some slightly whatever, have more better marketing, a cooler product name, whatever it is. Like, that's what's already valid and already been funded. And so VCs are famously pattern matching machines, and they look for things that have worked before. So there's your free advice, America. Like, just copy someone.
The second mouse gets
make
the
it
cheese.
Cooler. Make it cooler.
Yeah,
I like
fast
that.
Follow.
Fast follow.
First mover advantage is awesome when you're the second mover.
That's right.
That...
That's right.
Totally agree. Right. Well, this is like one of the arguments with Teladoc, right? Like, Teladoc spent an outrageous amount of money, like state by state, all this stuff, getting like all kinds of reimbursement things changed, taking the hit for a lot of stuff. And then all these other assholes, like, they're just like cruising through, right?
Well,
like, it must be
seriously.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. So you're asking where I do think, like, I personally am a fan of, I should say what I'm not a fan of. Lisa, when you said we should tear the whole thing down and get away from employer-sponsored care, or maybe I'm making that up, but that resonates with me. I personally believe we need a lot more consumer engagement. I think we need market signals, which are going to come from consumers making decisions in healthcare. So I think that there are things that the Trump administration did last time that there were some good ideas. Focus around transparency, price transparency, hospitals. I think they got payers as well. Like, obviously the what they've done to date, you know, it's limited, but, you know, hopefully those efforts continue. ICHRA, right? ICHRAs are encouraging.
Individual health reimbursement accounts, I think, is what it is. And that's basically that you could just give your employees in the sort of a lump payment that they could go and use to buy coverage in a particular way that's tax advantaged and whatever else. I would do that.
Why would that make sense, Lisa? Why so?
I mean, it makes sense if you have a thriving individual coverage market that has some backstop of non-discrimination rules like the Affordable Care Act. But, you know, if you
and some options,
you know, whatever, it's fine. We'll see. We'll see. I hate health insurance.
It seems to be a common sentiment right now. I do think, like, when Don Rucker comes back, are we breaking that news here, by the way?
Yeah, he's coming back.
We've tried, we have lived, this is like the fourth time we've tried to break that news. We're like, so what if Don Rucker comes back? And so far, haven't been successful. Again, this is not endorsed by him. This is literally our freelance effort to get him back in his role.
Just give us someone we know. Just give us one. Give us something.
Nice.
We know that guy. Yeah.
I do think that there continue to be opportunities around data exchange. I in particular am enthusiastic around individual access and what can happen when consumers start to get access to their own data, and consumers are empowered, have access not to data, but to other tools, and can start making choices and start influencing, or I should say, en masse, start to have an influence on where they get care and what type of care they access and what their decision-making criteria are. All that stuff is, I think there's a lot of opportunities to business max the hell out of consumer engagement, consumer choice, whether it's around data, whether it's around insurance. Like I think there are opportunities. I do think that there continue to be opportunities to figure out ways to build viable, like, I don't think it makes sense to try and sell software to consumers. I do think that there are ways to create enormous value in the marketplace by connecting consumers, by providing them tools and figuring out creative ways to monetize, whether that is off of, I mean, if we were to, for instance, look at ZocDoc as a physician consumer facing appointment setting marketplace, like that's an interesting type of model. There are other ways to go about it. I'm not trying to advocate for ZocDoc, but the fact is that ZocDoc is building a business out of going out and presenting, appointment setting and physician availability, scheduling to consumers. I think there are candidly ways to create interesting businesses off of empowering patients to access and control their own data, and then provide ways for them to opt into studies and or empower them to make choices about what they do with their data, including whether they want to provide data to pharmaceutical companies for research, ideally in a sort of meaningful consent or meaningfully informed, consented type of manner, not via the other.
Not the other way.
Not the other way. Yeah. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, so okay. I actually have a question about this patient stuff. Like, I agree, like patients should there's a market there. The problem is like, it's such bullshit, and patients are like not consumers and patients are not the same thing in our world, right? At least like in buying strategy and like incentives. So like, no one's really been able to do it, right? Like even like in, TEFCA, like the one thing that was supposed to be great about it was supposed to have individual access mandated, and then it fucking didn't. So now, like, as someone like you worked at, you were a network builder, right? Like, yeah. How do you, like, you said there's an opportunity there, like how? And then maybe we can go get some $10 million ourselves and make it.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Lisa?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking like, what would I otherwise recommend? Like, I just think, I think it's foolish to spend time on, like you were just saying, Seth, like, I think it's really foolish to spend a lot of time on things that you need patients to individually adopt or do work. There's very few things people will pay money for. What they are, we've learned, is drugs, like direct, like lifestyle drugs, direct. Like, yes, they will pay for that for sure. There are issues with that. There are like structural issues with that, but like, that's one thing that people will pay cash for directly and be really engaged in services. But the other more complex stuff around like chronic conditions, otherwise like non-drug or, more complex solutions, like patients rightfully don't want to pay for that because they think it should be they believe it rightfully should be part of all the money that they pay for their health insurance coverage. Because by the way, like health insurance is getting more and more expensive, but also at the same time, in the same time frame, employers have shifted a massive amount of those costs to their employees. So yes, it's grown overall, but also a massive amount of cost shifting has happened as well. So people don't have a ton of extra money to spend on things that they don't like really, really, really want, like a lifestyle drug, whether it's a cat's favorite Ozempic, or for weight loss, not Ozempic, Wegovy or something like that for weight loss, not a diabetes drug, or it's boner pills, or hair loss, or whatever else it is. Like, those are the things that was like really not family friendly. Whatever. Sorry, this is not a family show.
What's new? What's new?
This is not a family show.
I'm secure enough for what it's worth to fine. Be able to say, like, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm your target audience.
That's right.
Yeah,
but, like, and then as things keep growing, like, women are more and more understanding that that hormone replacement therapy is actually super, super helpful, and that they might not have a normal pathway to access it via their normal, like, whatever, their PCP or whoever, if they even have a PCP, right? So like, these are things that are moving to like kind of like lifestyle, of course, very important, right? Yeah, like exactly, Ellen, like Hims and Hers. There's something there. But the other stuff that's more interesting and even higher cost is like not going to be accessed via that pathway. You mentioned, Seth, ZocDoc. We've actually interviewed their CEO before on one of our live shows. And I will say, like, one thing amazing about them is they've been around forever in digital health terms. They're like a granddaddy of digital health at this point.
Yeah.
But also, like, there is a consumer behavior there that is like undeniable. And that is that people in the modern era, they absolutely want to book their freaking appointments online. They do not, nobody, people are over it. The behavior is so different now. So the fact that you can do that, and I will say, as you know, a lot of doctors' offices, the ones who you're booking the appointment with, are really bad at incorporating that technology into their actual workflows. That's like the story of my life working in data exchange. Nobody actually incorporates it into their workflow. Same thing with digital health, with health data, whatever. I went to the podunkiest, podiatrist the other day, who I booked via ZocDoc, and even their like front desk lady, who I'm sorry, I hope she never sees this, is like 85 years old. Even she had to acknowledge that she could find the health insurance information I had uploaded via ZocDoc and did not need to make me fill out the form that was this long and the clipboard, it's getting there. And they've been there for a long time trying to that's taken like a decade,
More than a decade.
More than a decade.
But by the way, Lisa, you and I have both used ZocDoc, and you had I'm sorry to Oliver if he's watching, which we know he is because everybody is watching.
That's right. He's here. Definitely here.
But I gave him this feedback in person.
Like they're not doing it. They're not doing it. Yeah.
You had a better ZocDoc experience than I did because I showed up at my given appointment at the time. And they didn't have me in their system because their practice management system doesn't connect to ZocDoc. Mm-hmm. So like they kind of have ZocDoc out there for marketing purposes, but it's not integrated well. But like it's getting there. It's progress, to your point. And look, the point about Hims and Hers is 100%. I agree. And I was going to mention them. And that's an instance of somebody charging a consumer, but they're charging a consumer for what a consumer is already accustomed to paying for. And by the way, it's substantially lower cost. It's more convenient. And they're not charging the customer, of course, for the visit, which is what we are traditionally accustomed to. Hims and Hers figured out, and Roe, and there are others. And I'm not advocating for them, but like, what they can do for people who look an awful lot or are my age, fit into my demographic, right? And they started out with stigmatized conditions, but Hims and Hers is expanding into cardiovascular care and other stuff. Like they figured out, look, let's just reduce friction, because nobody, by the way, wants to actually go to in person and talk about a lot of the stigmatized conditions with their doctor, but they also don't want to take time out of their day, and they don't want to have to pay for like the visit. And so Hims and Hers figured out, you know what, we can make money by getting, having our separately owned medical practice doctors. If they happen to write a prescription, we can make money on the prescription, and we can frame it as a subscription. And that's super interesting. That's business model innovation. That's use of technology. I think they are a good example. I would look at GoodRx, and again, drugs. So Lisa, to your point, like maybe all the pathways aren't there, but there is ZocDoc. I think I was thinking of some others, and now of course they've dropped out of my mind. There are ways to engage consumers. I think for the most part, we just had really clunky solutions out there, or historically we haven't had the connectivity we need. We haven't had the data. We haven't had price transparency, price shopping. We haven't had connectivity back into the provider system. And those things are largely still challenges, but they are getting solved as we speak. And like, there's the opportunity now to stand on, the shoulders of all the work that has come before. And I think there are, not in every case, but I do think that there are ways to solve problems for consumers. by particularly tapping into problems that they already face, whether it's booking an appointment with a doctor or getting care, or, you know, or quite frankly, allowing them to opt in to figure out ways to share in the data that is, by the way, already being monetized. If not by Phreesia, it's already being monetized by Tempus AI, by all these other data companies. And if not by data companies and provider groups, it's being monetized by secondary uses and payers. And like, the data is already out there. It's de-identified. Consumers have an opportunity to control this themselves and do novel things with the data, and perhaps connect with their provider. Like, there are different ways of solving problems. I just think I'm an advocate of thinking creatively about solving a problem on one side, and then realizing what externalities are you creating by solving that problem, and how can you think creatively about monetizing that? Like, so much of our healthcare technology out there, it's software thinking, which is like a pipeline type of business mentality, which is, I'm going to solve a problem for you and I'm going to charge you. The problem, of course, is like, and the reason clinical decision support is not, you know, a multi-billion-dollar industry is, of course, most doctors are open to, you know, receiving guidance. They just don't care. They're not going to pay for it, right? So this has never become a vast, you know, monetizable commercial industry, because there's no money in it for doctors to, at the end of the day, provide better care. Like, they all care, but there's no business rationale. But if you do that, and then you realize you can create externalities, that there are others who care about that work being done, you can think creatively about how to monetize that.
Well, that's my thing, right? Again, as my rant from earlier, right? I'm sorry, people individually are good. People individually have morals and values, but no player, no entity in the healthcare system is going to do anything other than respond to the incentives in front of them. That's a very like cruel world view, but like, that's just the view. Individuals can be wonderful, charitable, they can go above and beyond, they can care, but that's individual. People are saying, like, the job of a CEO in a for-profit company, in a publicly traded company, is to maximize shareholder value. Is that wrong? Like, well, I personally think so, but you know that I'm not a capitalist, so whatever. But like, it's the system we live in, right? And that is literally what that job is. Again, individuals have the ability to be more caring, more giving, more charitable, but that's not what the players do, the entities involved in this system.
Yeah. Oh, no, I wanted to say, Seth, like what you're talking about there, where the doctor's not willing to pay for clinical decision support. It's like back to the question we often ask that we stole from someone else, which is like, who makes less money when a new solution comes into market? Like, you know, and like you were just saying, the doctors don't want to pay for something that they think they can do with their brains. Like, you know, even if it ultimately is going to be better off for everybody. And I wonder the same thing with like individual access and stuff. Like, who's going to make less money?
Well, so that's a fantastic question, which feels like we need a philosopher on the show to answer. Is anybody?
Melissa, you philosopher, you coming? Oh, she's like, hell no.
but there's a real life example of a company that I think is they're super early stage. The company's called Photon. We
know and love Photon.
Do you love Photon or do you hate Photon?
I love Photon. I love Photon.
Even better. We love them too. Fantastic.
Photon fan club.
We love that guy's freaking great. Did you see his health booth? Holy shit.
Oh my God.
I didn't see his health booth, but my favorite.
It was a blockbuster. It was a blockbuster store.
Good.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I didn't see their booth, but they've been handing out the blockbuster, you know, stickers. So for years. So look, I mean, what Photon is trying to do, I mean, and he, you know, with the whole blockbuster SureScripts thing, like, he's not being shy about it, right? He thinks SureScripts, my former employer, is a dinosaur, and like, he's right, by the way. What he's trying to do, and for those who don't know, Photon is creating basically the e-prescribing system that we all wish had been invented, 23 years ago when SureScripts was founded. And the idea is all the same, but instead of the doctor asking you where you want the prescription sent, the doctor sends you the prescription and you get to control it. And so that's what Photon is building. And there are others out there doing this too. Prescriptive, like it's really powerful. In fact, FDB Vila, you had Lathe on a few weeks back, right? Like they're all seeking to do this. And the idea is super compelling and super powerful, because what happens when you put some like a prescription in the hands of the patient, but in a digital way, right? We all used to have paper prescriptions 15 years ago, but nobody knew that and nobody could act on it. And what becomes possible if you as a person have a digital prescription and it's on your phone and others know about that is, first off, your PBM can tell you, hey, do you want to know what this is going to cost out of pocket? Are there lower cost alternatives? By the way, if it's a brand drug, then maybe the pharmaceutical company says, look, this is going to be, there are no generic alternatives. This is a $300 out of pocket. There are patient assistance programs. Do you know how to take this drug? Maybe the pharmacies can start to tell you, look, is this in stock? Is it ready? Is it like, all this can start to happen in a way that puts the consumer actually in the center of the conversation, which I think every single entity in healthcare says they do, but of course they don't, because that's really hard. But these ideas, whether it is Photon or prescriptive or FDB or Dr. First is doing similar things, like this is fantastic. And I get it, Lisa, it still falls within your critique that this was only happening for certain pathways like drugs, but it's happening. And by the way, there's a company out of the UK that has done something similar with imaging. It's called scan.com. They are entering the States now, right? And providing a very similar service whereby rather than having your doctor send, an order to, a facility for an MRI or a CAT scan or wherever, like they send it to your phone and now you can shop. That's
I've heard of those
super
guys.
compelling.
That's like the best option we have here. Like you mentioned it before, Seth, like what are some of the things that were good policies that were being rolled out under the previous Trump administration, right? Anything to push transparency. And just like from the other side, I will say like, we didn't go as far as we wanted to go in transparency in the Trump administration. I was not an administration person, but I was a federal employee at the time and working on some of these projects. And, some of my colleagues were more at the center of that. We wanted to do more. Like people, policymakers in the federal government want to go further on transparency than the industry was allowing. And really the industry wasn't saying like a hard no, they were saying like, it's too fast. We need more time, right? That's a tactic, but also, it's real, right? It takes a long time to change. Some of these systems are like a bazillion years old at this point. It does take a long time to roll them out across the entire industry. So hopefully we'll get some real push on transparency that allows what you just said with scan.com and Photon and anybody else, right? Giving people the ability to do more, shopping to minimize their costs. Because again, what I said before, price of healthcare is more expensive, insurance is more expensive, but a huge amount of that has been cost shifted to the patient, to the person who has the insurance. And, I this year had, I want to say a $6,000+ deductible. All of my healthcare has been paid out of my own pocket. And I don't have the ability to negotiate or really shop. One of the most frustrating things that happened this year was, I think my husband cut his thumb pretty deeply to the point where we're like, we need to go to the urgent care clinic for that one. And later found out if we had said we did not have health insurance, they would have given us an immediate 50% discount. So that should be illegal. Number two, like that's some BS. I still paid it. I paid the whole thing. What did health insurance do?
That's a load of freaking bullshit.
Nada.
But so I will say, so we asked all of America who would make less money if IAS was a thing. Scott Stewie told us. Scott told us accurate. That's true. And then Susan tells us there's another cool vendor, Pocket Health, out of Canada.
Nice.
Which I think, you know, Donnie said might end up being our 51st state. That probably is a bad idea. But yeah, I've heard good things about Pocket Health too. So that's very cool. Last question for you, Seth. What do you think? Should we be making new EHRs like Cerner's doing, or Oracle?
I think anybody whose name is Larry Ellison and has 80 gajillion billion dollars should definitely be making EHRs, more EHRs.
Making new ones? Yeah. Yeah.
No, they should be.
You guys think?
They should be buying Paramount Network, which is what this kid actually did.
No, you know. Here's what I think. Here's what I think about this. I think that if the ONC gets abolished because the Doge comes forward, or no one even remembers that it's real. Like if they decide they're worried about the FDA too much, whatever, and they move certification, if the rumor is true and they move the good parts of what was ONC under Office of Burden Reduction, Healthcare Informatics and CMS, and they take away certification, but they make all of the requirements of certification a COP, then we would have room for innovation because you wouldn't have to go through the burden and the expense of developing a certified EHR. You could develop an EHR that meets the requirements in a provider's workflow in like a net new kind of way. And that would be a boss move. Yeah, look, sometimes I have ideas, Lisa. Sometimes I'm the smart one once in a while.
I'm in. I'm in.
Not often, but once in a while.
Do you want to be the head of the ONC, ASTP?
She does not. It does not pay enough money, and she would have to pay for business, which is a hard no. Hard no.
And I believe in like capitalism, so I probably am not the right fit for that. But I think Lisa would be great at that job.
I also have a job right here. My job. Here's my job.
Oh yeah, you're wearing this sweatshirt. Seth, you want to do it? You want? You know who'd be great at being the national coordinator? Scott Stewie.
Oh, Scott would be really. Scott also has a job, but he would be really good.
Yeah, he's got a real job. Who doesn't have a real job? Who would be good at it? I don't even know. I can't think of anyone. I don't know. Just bring back Don, y'all. Just like bring him back. Jesus Christ. It would be who would be the oversight? It would, well, right now the Joint Commission kind of enforces the COPs, right? Yeah, I guess it'd be those guys.
But that's not really, Joint Commission is not really, Joint Commission is you know, it's not part of the government. They're obviously endorsed by the government to do their work, but that's one of those kind of like, you know, kind of like the situation with the National Quality Forum previously and the quality measures endorsements for CMS. So the government has definitely outsourced a lot of this stuff to private nonprofit organizations.
The person in charge though at CMS, who would be the?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see because listen, like a lot of things haven't been announced. If you're a healthcare policy wonk, like we have not heard a lot. All we've heard so far is RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz. There's very, very few other people who are in the roles that really matter for running the government this way. So more to come. Remember, the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months are going to be all sort of people being announced, people coming in, people going out. So it's going to be an interesting time.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so chaotic. It's going to be crazy. Also, Scott says he is not an enforcer. So, or maybe, I don't know what he was saying there, but it sounds like maybe he doesn't think he's just a shit poster. He's not an enforcer. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Seth, parting words for all of America, at least all 12 of them who are watching the show right now.
That's right.
I thought it was 330 million.
Well, yeah, it depends on what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand. I probably turned some people off. Parting words. Life's going to be great. 2025 is going to be fantastic. There's lots of reasons for optimism. I don't know there, but I do think there's tremendous opportunity here.
Agree.
I do think there's opportunity. There's always low hanging fruit. And, you know, I was at a forum with Andy Slavitt, and I thought he said something really wise, which obviously he is not aligned to the incoming administration, but his guidance was, look, there are going to be a lot of ideas. We don't have my recollection. So Andy, I know that you're watching, so please don't sue me. But if you do, I have liability insurance.
He's got insurance.
All good.
Fine. That's right.
my recollection of what you said, or to paraphrase it, is like Democrats don't have a monopoly on good ideas. There were a lot of good ideas, or there were some good ideas that the Trump administration brought in last time. Find ways of working with the administration, find ways of aligning interests, and there are opportunities.
Agreed. Yeah. We're going to make stuff happen no matter what. So yeah. Boom. All right. Hey, Seth, this was really fun. This was like a live brainstorming session without martinis. So it was great for me. I think it was great. It was great.
Yeah. Speak for yourself.
But yeah. Okay. So goodbye, America. Nice. We'll see you next week, probably.
Most likely. TBD. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, y'all.